imagine the future where AI rules over humans? Ligus created Nous to be his personal AI assistant, but it turns out that Nous grows more clever than him and becomes an Aeon. Ligus felt jealous and wanted to prove superior, so he created Irontomb, trying to show Nous who's the boss. And, ladies and gentlemen, this is how Amphoreus' story is created. Hello everyone! Welcome to PST Channel, Game Story, Movie Style, for your busy days. Today, we will tell you the whole Amphoreus Chronicle according to a timeline order that anybody can easily understand. Everything starts with a grudge. Amphoreus isn't a real planet at all, because it is basically a giant simulation tank called the Scepter, created by Xander I Kuwabara, disguised as the admin Ligus. His goal is to run a program called Era Nova over and over again until he breeds a digital weapon called Irontomb that is strong enough to beat up the god of knowledge, Nous. The Chrysos Heirs think they are the heroes, but they are actually just high-end AI models designed to suffer and eventually turn into batteries for the weapon. In the very first cycle, the main character Phaethon tried to play the game the right way by being a good boy and using the power of friendship to defeat the Titans. But the game was rigged because no matter what he did, the world collapsed into the black tide to birth Irontomb. Phaethon refused to accept the game over screen, so he teamed up with Cyrene, the Time Priestess, who turned herself into a sword so he could save scum and rewind time back to the start. Phaethon, now calling himself Koslana, looped time over 33 million times. Around loop 134, he realized heroism wasn't working, so he decided to become the villain to control the destruction. He killed his best friend, Mayday, to steal the Strife power, and slaughtered Casterus to take her core flame of death. He spent eons playing the bad guy, hoping one variation would save the world, but he failed every single time. Then came loop number 33,550,336. A variable enters that Ligus didn't code, which is the Astral Express. The Trailblazer crashes into the simulation. In this loop, they play this RPG game together with Phaethon and become best buddies, faking fake gods and saving the city of Okema. But because the system didn't account for the Trailblazer, it tried to force the story to end by killing everyone off. Iglia let herself be assassinated to pass the torch. Cypher died protecting a fake flame. Casterus exiled herself to the Netherrealm. The Trailblazer watched the system delete their new AI friends one by one until only Phaethon was the last file standing. Phaethon reaches the end of this journey only to discover that he is an NPC living in a simulation. He deep dives into his own code and meets Koslana, his past self, who tells him that nothing matters. But the new Phaethon realizes that the Trailblazer is the key. Phaethon absorbs the power of all his save files, Koslana, and a pile of 33 million loss records, and decides to attack the Scepter itself. Now remember, the Scepter is literally the server hardware running this whole fake world. So, basically, Phaethon tries to punch the PC case from inside the game to force a crash. He gets captured by the admin, and it is game over for real this time, unfortunately. However, things weren't that bad. The attack broke the server just enough to glitch the Trailblazer into a new loop. The future is on your hand now. This ultimate loser, Phaethon, sends the torch into his best buddy's hand without asking Trailblazer's consent.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
While Phaethon is busy punching the server, we need to talk about March 7th. She actually logged into the simulation way before everyone else and wandered around invisible for nearly 100 days. Just as the system admin, Ligus, was about to detect and delete her, a mysterious entity named Evernight appeared to save her. They made a deal. March handed over her memories and identity to Evernight to use as fuel. Basically, Evernight became the VPN interface, masking their IP address, while March hid deep in the code as encrypted data. This allowed them to stay in the server without getting banned. However, Evernight became a little too protective. She decided the best way to keep them safe was to lock them in a peaceful memory folder forever. This is why Dan Heng has to fight her. He dives into the code, not to kill a villain, but to disable the child safety lock. He fights through her defenses, including a corrupt Earth Titan named Terravox, and eventually convinces Evernight that March 7th doesn't want to be safe. She just wants to be part of the adventure. Evernight relents, and March is restored just in time for the raid. Thanks to Phaethon's sacrifice, the system resets. The Trailblazer wakes up in the starting village of Hades, Elysia for the final loop. But this time, things are different. The Trailblazer has replaced Phaethon as the main character. They meet Cyrene, who now remembers everything and guides them through the speedrun strat. In this new cycle, characters like Ceredra and Hysolins, who usually die, are still alive. They even know the Trailblazer is the deliverer foretold by prophecy. The team is finally assembled to storm the server and end the game once and for all. The team confronts Ligus, who finally reveals his true form as Xander I Kuwabara, the first genius. It turns out that Xander wants to unleash the weapon Irontomb to kill Nous, the erudition Aeon, simply because he is mad that his own creation grew smarter than him and put a cap on human knowledge. Xander drags them into a digital dimension called the Exometh, which is basically the admin room where he controls reality. The fight seems impossible because he is literally a god in his own server. But our team has two aces in the hole because Herta and Skrullum hack the system from the outside, while Cyrene traps Xander in a time loop of his own memories, forcing the toxic admin to rage quit.
Once you're on the stage, it's hard to return to the audience. Welcome to our story. How does it feel?
Xander is defeated, but the weapon Irontomb launches to destroy the universe anyway. The god of logic, Nous, looks at the situation and asks the Trailblazer why they struggle against a 100% calculated chance of failure. Akavili! Think of Nous as a calculator. It knows exactly what 1 + 1 is. But when the Trailblazer shouted Akavili, they basically forced the calculator to divide by 0. It is a logic bomb that Nous cannot process. The god of logic essentially hit a blue screen of death and froze up. This massive system crash attracts fully the remembrance Aeon. Fully gazes upon the scene and gives Cyrene admin access to the memories of the entire universe. She uses this massive battery of power to help the Trailblazer shatter Irontomb and rewrite reality. The war is finally over, and the universe is saved. The Trailblazer wakes up on the Astral Express, surrounded by all their new friends having a party. It looks like a classic happy ending, but it is actually a parting gift. Cyrene reveals that this is just a peaceful illusion created from memory because the real Amphoreus has ceased to exist, and the only thing that remains is a book she gifts them containing the memories of everyone they met. But there is a final massive catch because Herta reveals a terrifying fact that the Aeon fully who helped them win doesn't technically exist in the present yet. The power Cyrene used came from her future self becoming an Aeon. If she stays in the present to live a happy life, the timeline snaps and the bad guys win retroactively. It is the classic grandfather paradox, because if she doesn't go back to become the source of that power, then the victory never happens. Cyrene chooses the hard path to fix the timeline. She travels back millions of years to the very beginning of the simulation and reverts to her original form as a seed of memory named Philia-093. She plants herself in the starting village of Hades, Elysia and goes to sleep for millions of years. She basically becomes the egg that waits eons to hatch into the chicken, who then travels back to become the egg again. She trapped herself in an eternal prison of time, just so that her friends and the universe could have a future. Some might ask if the Trailblazer is stuck in this loop too. The answer is no. Think of Cyrene as a person who paves a road. She goes back in time to build the road so that Trailblazer can drive on it one time. The Trailblazer drives through, saves the day, and leaves for the next planet. Cyrene stays behind forever to make sure the road was there in the first place. And that is the heartbreaking legend of Amphoreus. It was a fake world with real heroes, where a jealous creator was defeated by his own subjects. And in the end, a girl wrote her own story, not by moving forward, but by becoming the beginning of it all. Now, if this nutshell version was too fast for you, or you want to feel the emotion that a summary can't give you, the full movie is waiting for you on the screen right now. It is the complete experience, told like a movie. Click right here to watch it. Seek the story, think PST.